And I do believe we are live again. Hello, everyone. I wish to sincerely apologize for the minor issues that I was having earlier. It seems as if my efforts to stream earlier in the day are simply going to be hampered by the small fact that everyone basically is using Starlink during the day. Hello, Muffy Graves. Hello, Luminous. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with me. I completely understand if some people had to miss this because of the time zone shift. Now I need to check my bitrate. Yep, everything is going perfectly fine. I streamed for about, well, I tested my streaming for about 20 minutes before going live again, and it consistently showed 4 bars of signal, minimum 3,800 kilobytes per second. So I think the problem is simply that I've been trying to stream too early in the day when Starlink in Europe has a few too many users, which is a bit annoying considering that I wanted to start streaming earlier in the day. It's a bit awkward for me, but I mean, it's literally the restriction of my setup, so you know, that's all I can really deal with. Hello, Jackie, Muffing Raves. I really want to see what this game's like. Might get it for my man. I think that, I mean, for the literally 5 seconds that I've used. Mom, stop watching Downton Abbey. Man, I remember Downton Abbey. That was a real meme. I would have had to miss the earlier one, sadly. Yeah, it's a bit annoying. Like, the problem is I am a European. And an awful lot of my audience are Filipinos. Another load of my audience are Americans, and quite a lot are also Mexicans. So my audience is my audience is literally the poll meetup meme. There are so many people from around the world in my audience. I don't think I have like a target audience in terms of the people. I don't think there's any one demographic that overwhelmingly watches me. So I just have this continual dilemma when it comes to streaming, is that the times that are suitable for me are just completely unsuitable for most of my audience. And Europe is just one of those places that is really, really awkward to try and stream in because, I mean, Europe is all different cultures. So most people in the European time zone just will not be speaking English. I mean, what am I going to get a French audience, a German audience? Good grief, no! There is no way that my content would appeal to a German audience. The base demographic, yeah, I want the base demographic. I can't stand dealing with idiot Europeans. I could rant on for so long about idiot ideas that Europeans have had, although I'm not going to make this a rant stream or anything because I do want to get to gaming, but I will just go over some of the stuff just very briefly before. Let's give me about 20 minutes until actual gaming. If I go over 20 minutes, then please do yell at me because I wasn't it's actually fortunate that I waited a little bit. That regarding the Nexus, the Kick sweatshop for VTubers, well, it's actually not even Nexus itself. It's Evanito, because this guy I find increasingly hilarious. And what Hunky Lurker, I'll just tab over to it. Here we go. Just 1 second. If I turn that off, there we go. What Hunky Lurker outlined as Evaneto's streaming career so far just is absolutely hilarious to me. Let's have a look at this. So he's a failed anime reviewer slash yapper. He pivots to VTuber React content, gets views. Then he goes to Japan for free, a dream come true, likely paid by Harry. Now, Harry is the CEO of Nexus, and Harry is also one of the dream team that founded HoloLive. I don't know if he explicitly had involvement in the start of HoloLive, but he was a close associate of Yagoo. So he has some major industry pedigree, but yeah, he seems to be very much one of the people that was like the founders of Facebook, where there's a couple of them you know about and a couple of them that like sold out and thought that it would never get anywhere. Magdalenus Rex, I wish they just made Medieval 2 with more factions and better papal and domestic policies, like a family system, fief system, regions, and queens, so factions could be more historically accurate. I do agree. That would be lovely. The closest that I've ever gotten is like a... what is it? Cold Steel or something. There's a specific mod for Medieval 2 that is that tries its best to be as historically accurate as possible. There are a lot of limitations with the Medieval 2 engine. One of the things that I absolutely despise about the Total War franchise is just how terrible the AI is. Creative Assembly has had Stainless Steel, thank you very much, Cold Steel the Hedgehog. Creative Assembly has never been able to give us good battle AI, and it's so depressing because you'd think that a game that is based on huge scale tactical battles would have good AI, but the thing that takes me out of every single Total War game, and I've tried playing, my favorite I think is Medieval 2 Total War because that has some really great really great mods for it. I really love Third Age Total War. That's just amazing. Third Age Total War is probably one of the best mods that has ever been made for any game ever. I massively recommend it. It's even getting updates to this day. Dorwinion is one of the most wonderful OC Donut Steel factions in all of gaming. I love Dorwinion, like the idea of an elven/human hybrid faction. Oh, it's so good. It's just so good. The Dorwinion, oh yes, I could talk about them all day. I love Dorwinion. You won't understand unless you've actually played the mod, but yeah, there's a time when OC Donut Steels don't belong in games, but yeah, oh wow, Dorwinion is such an amazing player-created faction for Medieval 2 Total War Third Age. Magdalen's Rex. Attila was the last one I like, but it was basically an unfinished beta they abandoned to continue shilling the far worse Rome 2. It's a shame everything there was great to improve, and they ditched it. I do agree. Again, the AI issues are why I can't stand Total War games, and also the fact that the Total War series is just hideously optimized. I tried to play Total War Warhammer 2, and it just tanked my PC dreadfully. It made my I forget exactly what my specs are. I think I have a 3060 or something, like a pretty high-end graphics card that cost me at least $600 or $700. And that thing just starts to roar whenever I try and play a modern Total War title. It just does not like it. It stresses my system harder than any other game that I have tried to play. And I just cannot stand it. The lack of optimization, the bugs, the consistently terrible AI that is always incredibly easy to exploit. It just makes it not fun. I want a challenging tactical combat game. I don't want to be playing every single battle the same way because it's just so easy to cheese the AI. And the only way the games have to make the game more difficult is just give the AI more stat multipliers. They haven't improved the AI. I watch people like Legend of Total War mess around and just make complete chumps out of all the Total War AIs. Granted, Legend of Total War is a fantastic player in every way, but Total War, it's just a badly designed game series. And Creative Assembly absolutely deserves to fail, and fail completely for the amount of damage they've done to the franchise over the years. With stuff like, I think Rome Total War Remastered, them making Rome Total War Remastered exclusive to I think it was Windows 10, that just infuriated me to the end of time. I watched Legend of Total War's old M2/RTW stuff so much, the AI was bad, but the gameplay was satisfying anyways. Yeah, it's just sad. It's just sad how much you have to work with the game in order to have fun with it. It's a little bit how I play RimWorld as well. I like RimWorld, but RimWorld is just, the AI is so bad, and it relies so much on random chance that I have to install like 1,000 mods to get anywhere with RimWorld. Hot take, Creative Assembly haven't made a good game since Alien Isolation. I would have to agree with you, most definitely. And the thing is that Alien Isolation's development was a complete madhouse, too. I think there have been documentaries, or at least exposés, released on it that show just how much Creative Assembly wanted to mess up and interfere with Alien Isolation, and how the developers were just like, no, we know what a good game is, we have to do it our way. Just outright lie to our supervisors if we have to get stuff done. But anyway, back on target. Speaking about wonderful and glorious and marvelous Ivanito, is that I do love this, that Hunky Lurker obviously dislikes Ivanito a lot because it's just hilarious how he dunks on this guy. That Ivanito has thousands and thousands of Twitter followers, and yet look at his view counts. Look at the view counts that he gets on his videos. Oh dear, he actually gets less views on his videos than my VODs do. Like, these Japanese VTubers will do anything for clout. Clickbait title, 709 views. Gooners try dating a real woman. What an amazing video title. What a fantastic video title. 760 views. This is the worst way to cook rice. 442 views. Like, the only thing that he manages to clickbait, even the tiniest bit of success, is Pico Mama legal? 1.4k views. And that's it. And this is React nonsense. This is 1.1k views. His React content actually gets more views than his solo content. That's just hilarious. And then, of course, his, oh, today has been difficult. And this he posted right after, I think, going on Twitter and defending Harry. Doesn't he have a second channel? Third Age and Troy was the last straw. I wanted Bronze Age Total War and I got Anime BS. Dollar Tree Asmongold. That's a very good take, actually. He is Dollar Tree Asmongold. I don't really get why Asmongold gets so many views. Can someone explain to me the appeal of Asmongold? I used to hate Asmongold, I will admit. Now, I don't dislike Asmongold. I am ambivalent towards Asmongold. I think that he sometimes has reasonable analysis, but he's still pretty normy. He's still not exactly what I would call an intellectual. So what is Asmongold's appeal? Why does he have such enormous levels of popularity? Because I try and look at people and think to myself, what is the appeal of this person? And with Asmongold is very self-aware and fairly reasonable, even if he doesn't agree with things. Yeah, but that does feel to me like basic common sense, honestly. I mean, in fairness, like that's the phrase, in the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, has been creeping up on me an awful lot recently. Because it feels to me as if people with very basic levels of common sense and understanding of humanity are now considered borderline prophets and worthy of following simply because they have takes which are marginally less worse than the mainstream brainwashed ideologues. Asmongold has based views with the reach of a big streamer. How did he become that big? No idea. Yeah, I just don't understand how Asmongold ever got... I mean, let me just make it clear. I do not begrudge Asmongold his success in any way. I don't hate Asmongold. I don't think he should fail or anything like that. It just confuses me as to how he got such a big following to begin with. World of Warcraft hype, I guess. Yeah. He's been there forever. Yeah, I suppose having a long career does help. He is a WoW streamer who has been grinding streaming for a long time. 13 holy shit, 13 years. Isn't he male Pippa? Oh, if only. Yeah, I mean, all credit to Asmongold. He seems to have done something sensible in that he owns companies and that he's set pretty much for life. So good. He's also on for like 18 hours a day and uploads 5 vids a day. Good grief. Pippa is male Pippa. No, Thrang is male Pippa, remember? Yeah, I could never be online as much as Asmongold. I mean, I am terminally online, okay? I'm online. I'd say a minimum of 10 to 12 hours every day. When I get up in the morning, I have breakfast, and then I go on the internet. And by, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm still on the internet. So minimum 12 hours a day, I would say. And yet the desire to stream for that long, I just don't have it. Maybe that's what you need to do to get Kirsche. No, Kirsche wants a real man, okay? She doesn't want a swamp ass. Like, she's at that age where she actually wants somebody who can be proficient in reality, as opposed to... I mean, the thing about Asmongold, I think the only thing that I don't really like about Asmongold is he seems to have a bit of a glass house mentality, because he is very clearly severely mentally ill. And yet he tries to spit facts about real life, and I'm like, you are speaking good things, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I don't want to be harsh to the guy, because again, I do genuinely think that he does a lot of good overall. I just wish he was better. I just wish that people had better idols, better icons. I was talking in a channel earlier that's not on my Discord about just the complete lack of good role models and good icons that people have these days, and the fact that people were complaining about how Andrew Tate gets a massive audience and how that's terrible. And yet both me and my friend Alex and various other people, we all agree, what else? People are just broken at this point. They have, what else are they going to latch onto? Who else are they going to... Because nobody else in the world right now is giving people any sort of education as to what to expect in life. I mean, what Andrew Tate says is ridiculous and terrible and exploitative. But at the same time, people watching him means that, maybe there's something wrong with the fact that there is nobody else teaching anybody else anything better. Murphy Graves, oh, he knows he's not an okay person. Tectone also boosted him to the gotcha community. Ugh. We mentioned Lord and LOTW, and I don't know much... And I don't know him too much, but I learned he is married and now is a father to a daughter, which is wholesome and inspiring for a streamer. I don't know who you mean when you say LOTW. I'm sorry. I do apologize because I'm dreadful at acronyms. This is something me and Kirsche are both terrible at. If you say an acronym to me, I will 99% of the time not know what you mean. You will have to spell it out for me to get it. It is just a quirk of my autism. Acronyms and I are completely... A Legend of Total War. Okay, thank you. Yeah. See, we were talking about him less than 10 minutes ago, and I've already forgotten what the acronym was. That's how bad it is for me, unironically. Yeah, I mean, very good for him. Very good for him. I do think that, the paradox is that people who are online all the time are just... They're not good role models by default, because you can't trust what they say, because they're not living in a way that would exemplify the kind of traits that they talk about. And that's a fundamental problem with the internet, is that I think there are genuinely good role models out there. There are good philosophers out there. There are good thinkers out there. And yet they don't get attention because they're not online. The way you find them is by going outside and touching grass. And that's just not really something that people are taught how to do nowadays. Which is very depressing to me, and I try to avert it as much as possible. It's why I go to the legendary third spaces, as in, clubs and places where I interact with other people physically, and I get along with them, and we share experiences, and hey, I've got something really, really nice coming up in my real life because I interact with a third space, because a bunch of guys that I know have invited me on a 3D printing course that they're all going to try out together, and so I get to try out a professional level 3D printing course for free, just because I know a bunch of old guys who were like, hey, there's this college over here, and, our community club has a sponsorship deal with them, so we get to have that free course. And like, you know what, awesome, great. I can do that. Church friends told me not to bother with online Orthodox Christian communities because they spout all this stuff and would make bad role models and barely even go to church, so I have a leg up on them already. Yes, do not interact with online Christianity, please. Please do not. We need more third spaces, especially for kids. We absolutely 100% do. In fact, I would say that the most valuable thing you can possibly do for younger generations is give them a third space environment where they can meet without the influence of the internet. I think that that is the result of a massive disconnect between mature people and young people, because it's not that young people don't want to learn. I think that the mistake that an awful lot of people make, the idea that young people don't want to have role models, that they don't want to learn, that they don't want to be better people, I would massively disagree. I would say even the absolute worst hood rat who has been raised dreadfully still has that innate desire for a better purpose in life and a better role model. They simply don't have anything to go by. Any drama today? Not really. I think that we might have quite a lot better. Unfortunately, I have to do video editing work for churches. My new clients are that. When does the brain rot begin? I'm not sure what you mean by brain rot. I mean, my experience is that a good Christian is out living their life as opposed to talking about it on the internet. I mean, I want to talk. I talk about Christianity on the internet a fair amount nowadays, but yeah, I don't know. Again, as I was saying, the best thing you can do for young people is to try and provide them some level of third space. Hood rat, I feel called out. Magdalena's Rex, the amount of Orthodox Zoomers I see on Twitter whose feed is 95% hentai. Well, I mean, I am a Christian man who has a significant attraction towards anime fox women on the internet, so, you know, I mean, I don't watch hentai, but at the same time, yeah, I can't exactly say that the priests in my congregation would be completely satisfied with the kind of things that I sometimes look at on the internet, so I'm not going to judge too much. At the same time, there's a difference between the occasional indulgence and complete degeneracy. It's a slippery slope. It's absolutely a slippery slope. It's why I'm very glad that I'm on medication that keeps those urges more or less under control. So let me finish my coffee and then I'll start the game. I will probably also be streaming tomorrow as well. I wanted to do like while Kirsche is away, a Friday kind of Fox News style stream like she did, with her permission. I specifically asked, hey, do you mind if I steal your bit for a while? And she was like, yeah, sure, while I'm on holiday, sure. So tomorrow, because Manor Lords released today, it's tomorrow that I'm going to be doing a more general stream about just about silly news. There's quite a lot of madness going on in the world right now. Korsha comes back on Friday the 3rd, I think. Yeah, it's not too much longer. I mean, when you say she comes back, do you mean she just gets home? Or do you mean she's actually streaming on Friday? Because I'm terrible at keeping up with when people stream. My Twitter isn't hentai, I blocked that, but I do have a lot of anime girls. RIP also meant like I was in one Orthodox community and they said it was good Mao won the Civil War because Chiang's a Methodist. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Magdalena's Rex. I try and be as politically neutral as possible. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people say that I'm right-wing. No, I hate the right wing. I hate the left wing. I hate politics deeply and passionately. To me, the fact that politics has become inextricably intertwined with very basic things like morality and ethics and how knowledge works and how people's perceptions work, I find that disgusting. I hate politics. I really, really hate politics. Whether you're right or left, I don't care. What I care about is knowledge and information. Bird Streamer hates the left and right wing. I mean, technically pheasants are flightless birds, so I do have reason to hate wings. We're not going to see any praise of Wings of Redemption, shall we say, on this channel. Sorry, somebody just pinged me on the forum, 1 second. He was right in paragraphs. Oh, I see. Somebody just commented about Infinito. Left ring, right ring, bitch, I'm chicken wing. Proctor likes the tail. I do like the tails. I do indeed like the tails. The tails are wonderful. Anyway, for some reason I do not have... do I have audio set? Oh yes, because I set the master volume to 0. Because... Alright then. Let's actually play the game that I'm here to play. As soon as I get this working. Right, turn that. There we go. So this is Manor Lords. And I think I shall, because I'm not going to be able to see the in-game chat. We'll see. I'll give it another 10 minutes. If people after 10 minutes ask me to turn off... Actually, I will turn off the chat just for now, because we're going through like character creation and stuff. Politics outside of secular liberalism wouldn't be as annoying. I agree. I just find that politics... To me, politics is just inherently divisive. I don't care what your politics are so long as you have equivalent morals to my own. Politics is nothing more than the application, than the attempts to convince other people of your positions, basically. And on that small level, like lowercase p politics, you can call me political. In terms of like high level politics, as in governments, no, they're all bad, and I wait daily for Armageddon to come and destroy them all. Anyway, let's actually get into Manor Lords. Maybe turn up the volume and make sure that everything there is working. 85%, let me check my audio levels. That seems to be good. That's a little bit quiet, I'll turn it up a tiny bit. And while we're here, yeah, I have got that off. Most of modern day political issues should not be solved by politics. 100%, that is exactly how I feel, Luminous. The cradle of debate grows. Right, okay, so first of all, I want to shout out Manor Lords' fantastic level of graphics customization. You can do a ton of stuff in this game, and I massively approve. Like display mode, resolution, anti-aliasing. It even has FSR quality, all these different anti-aliasing options. VSync, max frame rate, tons of different options. Sharpening, shader quality, shadow quality. This is all like AAA plus level customization, and I think there's going to be more in future. This is exactly how I want all games to be. I have an obsession with tweaking my game settings. So a game that has as many different quality options as possible is one that I will automatically like, basically. We also have, of course, gameplay, autosave, tutorial pop-ups. As far as I know, this game doesn't actually have a particularly good tutorial. I looked up a couple of tutorials online beforehand from people that had already played things, and I'm glad that I did, because it's one of those games where if you don't make the right decisions right at the start, you're kind of screwing yourself out of stuff, and I would definitely have fallen afoul of that. I really, really love this music, by the way. This is my kind of music. When I first booted up this game, I just sat there and I listened to this music for a good 5 minutes. Graphics options is the real character customization screen. I do agree. Oh, just one small warning, by the way. This game, if anybody here ever happens to stream the game, yeah, this game can kind of dox you a tiny bit, because it allows you to load a custom texture, and as you can see, it shows the entire file path of said custom texture, like drive/. Unfortunately, when I set up this computer, I just said user's username, app data, etc. So it's not showing my real name. If I had been playing this on my previous PC, which I set up before becoming a streamer, that would have shown my real name right there. It would have said drive/ my name. Users/my name. So just be careful about that, alright? Make sure that your username is not your real life name. Otherwise, if you're ever streaming this, you might accidentally dox yourself, just in at least a small way. Fortunately, I am not that kind of person. What annoys me very slightly is the fact that you can customize and upload a custom texture for your coat of arms, but you can't load up a... You can't load up a unique portrait yet, although I will say I really like this portrait. I think that this portrait is very much a Zakharov kind of face. All classic Slavish hunks. Level of customization for your coat of arms without any upgrades is also pretty good. So let me just customize my coat of arms just a tiny bit. We of course need the bird. And primary color was, did I set it to purple last time? How do I do this? And we have the, go for a simple pattern. Did I have it this one, or was it, where was it last time? Bear with me a second. There, that's the one I had before. Now we have yellow bird, black feet. That works. Let me just check all the other options. I like this one overall. Maybe red feet. That works. That works. I like that one. Oh, I love that soundtrack so much. And now we just begin the game. As you can see, everything's very smooth and nice. Hopefully, everything's good. And once again, you get an awful lot of options here that let you customize pretty much any aspect of the game. I massively approve of this. I think the last game that I saw which had extremely extensive like game customization options was Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2, which lets you customize a massive amount of the game, which I hugely approve of. You've got your end goal, which is like domination. I don't actually know what the difference between domination and conquest is yet. You have off-map adversary, AI aggressiveness, radar frequency, bandit camps, starting season, starting supplies. I'll actually double my starting supplies because again, this is literally the first time I'm playing the game, and I'd rather not soft lock myself by making bad decisions early on. You can customize pretty much anything here, which I massively appreciate. There's only one map at the moment. Also, I actually didn't notice these options, these scenario templates the first time I set this up. So we have Rise to Prosperity, Restoring the Peace, 2 territories in the north are claimed by the illegitimate Baron whose caste is located off the map. Bandit camps reside in the other unclaimed regions. Build and expand at your own pace. When ready, challenge the Baron from the northern territories. On the edge, grow your city and raise the force as quickly as you can. The lands are pested by raiders, and undefended settlements will quickly perish. Okay, so that's basically combat, that's more like sieging, and that's more like prosperity. Okay. I think this game has an enormous amount of potential. Absolutely enormous amount of potential. So let us begin and see how things go. Seems to load very quickly too. The optimization of this game so far seems to be very good. It did give me some screen tearing issues the first time I loaded it up. I had to enable VSync. The graphics are also very good for a city builder. You can see, yeah, you can see a lot of details. Oh, I'll just pause the game so we can look at stuff. The graphics on Ultra are very, very nice for a game where you're going to be playing in a very zoomed out perspective for most of the time. The art style, this is fantastic. This beats the hell out of an awful lot of games. You can make an RPG out of this. Like the grass clipping through the tents is a tiny bit annoying, but you know, you could call this a top-down RPG, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Remember, this is a one-man team, by the way. A single person has made this entire thing. Let's look at some of the character models too. Like those are some solid character models for a game like this in any way. Hello Herman. Hello Gerhors. Hello Fritz. Hello Ott. Very, very traditionally Slavic names. Oh, look, it's yes. Well, we know that she's got streaming in her future. Architect, she's going to be the architect. Victory condition dominance, build up your town, your manor, and when ready, press claims towards regions owned by your opponents. Once a claim has been pressed, be ready for battle. I will unite these lands under my rule. In Manor Lords, families need food and fuel and a roof above their heads to survive. Supplies, got it. And let's have a look at our initial supplies. So let me move my microphone just a tiny bit so I can see more of the screen. There we go. As you can see, it's this first of spring. You've got a whole load of different tabs. The UI is nice and comfy, I find. Lots of information. Your approval starts at 50%. Public order is pretty good. Regional wealth. living space, all of these kind of essential things that are pretty obvious for any kind of city builder to use. Oh, nice, you see yourself up there too. Visit mode, very early development. Press to walk around your town in third-person mode. I'm not going to click that because if it has glitches, I don't want to use it in case my game crashes or anything. But that's actually a really nice feature I didn't know about until just now. All the tutorials that I watched said that trying to build houses right away is a bad idea completely. Instead, you can see we've got timber up here. Every region in Manor Lords has strengths and weaknesses. Be sure to check all the resource deposits as well as investigate the soil fertility before deciding on the direction of your town. If your region has weak fertility, consider setting up trade early. So you've got the overlays. This is underground water. As you can see, there's a decent number of... we're not going to run out of water anytime soon. How do I actually get the overlays back? Settings, help, map, army. You can make roads. Yeah, I don't know how to actually get the overlays back. That's kind of silly. Yep, that's just controls. Yeah, this is I've barely opened this game before, by the way, so this will be a learning speed for me. Map view, Burbage, Burgage plot. Burgage. Tab. No, cinematic mode, control groups. Camera forward, all that cycle between towns. Okay, that's weird. It doesn't actually tell me how to... Gameplay. That's kind of annoying, actually. Ah, yes, you've got here, you can specialize all your towns into various different things. Oh, I didn't realize there was policies as well. Hunting grounds, strict fasting, interesting. Locked in early access. So most of these have not really been developed yet, but you can currently have a couple of different options. Wild animals on rich deposits breed twice as fast at the cost of 50% reduced yields from crops. Okay, so it's basically an either-or kind of thing. Some workplaces allow villagers to use hand carts to transport up to 10 goods at once. However, pulling a hand cart off-road is extremely slow, so make sure to connect your buildings to roads. I've got it. Construction. Ah, so the construction menu is how you see the overlay. That's slightly unintuitive. I would prefer, it would make more sense to me if it was part of the tab menu here. Smell, work in progress. So, let's have a look at our fertility. It looks like pretty much all that looks like we're not going to be growing flax here. Flax we can grow in the next county. Construction, trying to learn a few of the hotkeys. So, no barley fertility. Flax fertility is very low. However, emmer and rye all seem to be concentrated very well here, which suggests to me it would be best to start building things around here. Out in the open, but at the same time, clay, berries, that's slightly annoying. So all the stuff that we can use to actually build a town is mostly over in this direction, while graphs are saying that this open area should obviously be fields for rye and emmer. Ah, that's also actually very fertile over there, so emmer, rye. So those are pretty interchangeable. So right away, need to build a logging camp, I think. Over here, probably. There we go. Unassigned families work on construction automatically. I have got it. Timber requires oxen to be moved. Villagers will automatically get the ox when they need it. Right. Let's start working on this lumber camp then, and I will see about setting up a road directly to it. Let's just do it like that quickly. Yep, roads are, according to the tutorials, pretty easy to make, and you can also make roads bigger just by basically just making them a little bit longer. Yep, doesn't really matter too much at this stage. We only have one ox. It's a hitching post. Order another ox. Have we got much money at the moment? Fuel, food, construction. It all looks fairly normal. Where does it say our wealth? Oh, is that our treasury? Okay. Let's turn things off. I was also informed that it's a very good idea to create a logging camp, forester's hut. Workers plant new trees in the specified zones. This seems to be giving me quite strong settlers gameplay ideas. So we want to place the sawmill. And that's wood. Oh. Workers fell nearby trees to produce timber. Workers fell nearby trees to produce firewood. Interesting. Workers transform timber into planks. It seems so far mining. Doesn't actually show what planks are needed for when I look through here. Residential. Oh, is that... Ah, I see. Wooden church. So that requires 20 planks. So it looks to me like planks are a resource used for more advanced buildings, whereas timber is just used for basic buildings. Alright, that more or less makes sense to me. It's a forager's hut. That's clay, that's iron, that's wild animals, that's berries. In almost all cases, resources in Manor Lords have to be physically moved. It can take a moment, so feel free to change the game speed if you feel like it. Game speed controls are in the bottom right. This thing in background is this actual world map. The world map basically just, if you zoom out far enough, you're automatically placed in the world map. This is like the town. There's no difference as far as I can tell between the town map and the world map. It's just that zooming out far enough puts you in the large world map view. All the things are connected and exist on the map at all times. Like, you're simulating the entire world as far as I can tell. It's not like RimWorld where your colony exists in a cell of the map, but the rest of the game world is just processed as, computations off-screen. No, in this game, the entire world map is being simulated at all times, as far as I can tell. Which I really like. I really like that. Okay, so let me just set up a forager hut. Hopefully this is close enough to the berries. I think halfway. Ah, and I can rotate it like this. That's convenient. Place that. That's under construction.
If I have to spend another winter in Albert's barn, I'd like to freeze me balls off.
Oh, that's funny. Need a yeah, we've got enough for a storehouse and a granary. Don't want to build too much on my fertile land. Yep, so basically avoid that. So storehouse. There, I think. Let's make a thoroughfare like along here towards the parts of the map which are not. That's so that's a storehouse, and now we shall build a granary. Let's go with this. And now we can just speed up, I think, fast forward ×4, and I'll see how long this takes to be constructed. Looks like they're nearly done constructing already. That's very good. I just love the background audio in this. If there's anything that people would like me to discuss and maybe yap about while I'm playing this game, then they're more than welcome to suggest stuff in the chat. Otherwise, it's probably going to be fairly chill because I can feel this is a very nice game already. Ah, interesting. I have heard of your renown. I only seek to defend my rights and my honor against those who would wrong me. I hope you will not judge me by the rumors and slanders that some may spread about me. Signed and sealed by my own seal, Hildebolt von Berenroot. Okay, right back. This is interesting. Rhetoric, negotiation, declaration. Alright, why is this guy angry at me? I don't have any influence, so I think that all I can do... I like this, though. You have no rightful claim to Selbitz and Hofstetten. Hofstetten. That's a nice name. This view shows you which regions are under whose control. Got it. It looks like I'm the only player on this map right now. Outlaws. So these are the bandits, I assume. I'm not gonna communicate with bandits. Let's instead just go back and see. That's a stone deposit, nice. So we have 5 families right now. Rain and stuff can spoil your goods. That's why we're building a storehouse. Weather is a factor in this game. Stuff can decay when it's left outside. And apparently one of the things the tutorials warned me about is the fact that in spring, rain comes fairly often and can destroy quite a lot of your goods unless you build a storehouse right away. Arclight, I don't have time for playing games like this anymore. I used to play them a lot. Can you Georgian chant along? I don't know exactly what you mean by Georgian chant, I'm afraid. This is just such nice ambience. Roads. Let's just connect this up. There we go. And I love how you can zoom in. It even has individual flowers models. That's so cute. That's really, really nice. You really... This was practically like if you made this into a 3D game and had like the Skyrim character running around it, this could be a Skyrim mod. I wonder what engine this is built on. I'm not sure. The homeless people's tents. So let's start working on some actual houses now. Residential, Burbage, Burgate. I'm gonna keep saying Burbage plot. Let's put a well right there. Some buildings have flexible borders. Place 4 points to designate an area. The cursor will snap to roads and buildings to try and create an organic shape. You can leave more space for future extension upgrades. The first 2 points mark the front of the house by default. Okay. What is too small? Okay. What about that size? Ah, that's a really nice little system. Oh. That means 2 plots of land. I like this. I like this system a lot. Okay, so let's pop it like that. Construct. And now let's make one along here too. That should be 4 houses. Possibly 5. I don't know why I'm saying Burbage instead of Burgage. You'll have to forgive me for that. Let's fast forward a bit. So those are all the exposed goods that should be built as soon as... that should be stored away soon, TM. Relocate, demolish. I should be able to set where these guys advanced. Limit work area. And now if I just scroll out, and I should be able to adjust the size, that I should be able to set them working there. Nice. Currently have 5 families, so I've assigned 3 families to that, and now they should get on with things and go make stuff. That's good. Storehouse is up. People should start moving stuff from supply dumps. Valheim House. I vaguely remember Valheim. What is that game that Amazon produced that turned out to be terrible and everybody stopped playing?
Even with his wife to keep you warm.
I forget exactly. Let's see how the game handles fast forward 12. Ooh, nice. I like the little ambient talking in the background as well whenever peasants have something to say. That's really cute. You can tell this game was made by somebody with real passion already. New World? Yeah, I think New World is that one. I know that Josh Strife Hayes talked about it quite a lot, about how broken it was, as well as Upper Echelon. I like Upper Echelon. Upper Echelon is a good guy. He seems to have an awful lot of stuff to say about interesting things. Right, construction. Food, fuel, crops. Ah, I see. These are all sub-menus. That makes sense. Treasury tab. Your personal money, usually collected from taxes, can be used for diplomacy, hiring retinue and mercenaries, as well as settling a new region. Build a manor to enable taxation in any controlled region. Okay. Construction finished. Forage a hut.
Fresh start for me and my own.
Oh, somebody just joined. Oh, nice. Total population 10. Oh, I see. Family requests more market area for their stall forager hut. Advanced. Limit work area. Those are the berries, so that's where they should be collecting from.
Summer's coming soon, and soon the beating sun.
Come on, guys, gotta build up these homes. Oh, I see, that well builds instantly. That's nice. That's neat. I'll focus on one of these houses first of all. Unassigned, transporting stone. Okay, so they are all moving all this material over from where to the storage location. Let's put things back up to fast forward. Oh, are you seriously joking? My laptop, go away. I do not want to install Windows 11. Go away. Wish Josh Strife Hayes was slightly less of a lefty. I didn't know that Josh Strife Hayes did political content at all, actually. Like, how is he a lefty? I'm not sure. I've literally never heard him say political stuff before, really. I've heard him say some decently based things overall about stuff that, you know, I agree with. I haven't really heard him say any real lefty takes. I've never heard him talk about trans people or anything like that. I never heard him say BLM or anything. But again, like, I could be wrong. Unfortunately, it's a case of just never meet your heroes. People suffering from disease may stop working. Access to herbs might speed up their recovery. With a varied diet increases disease resistance. Okay. Homeless will move to the plot, and if approval is high enough, it might attract new families too. However, families need more than just space to be happy. Click on the building to check on their residential requirements. So requirements, amenities, water access, church level, fuel stall supply, food stall, and clothing stalls.
From all that hammering.
Should add more roads, of course. That's really, really cute, the little noises. Available market stall locations 9. Okay, let's... Trouble is, I have no idea how many market stalls we should actually have, so let me just make it a little bit larger.
Have you marked the joist for the rafters already?
So that is 12, I think. Let's make it like that. A well-supplied marketplace is the lifeblood of your town. Assigned families will set up stores automatically as long as there is enough space on the market. Hover over specific categories to change your current supply and demand. Burgage plots closest to the market get their market requirements fulfilled first.
Don't forget to brace the frame of the door. We don't want it to sag.
I like that voice acting a lot. That's very cute. I used to play Caesar 3 a huge amount. I don't know if anybody here is old enough to remember the Caesar series and also the Zeus games. There was also Emperor Rise of the Middle Kingdom, which I didn't play all that much of. But I think I gave that disc to one of my friends, actually, who was more into it than I was. But Caesar 3 was one of my first like city management, city builder games, and that was just fantastic. I played an awful lot of that, even though it was fairly primitive. It didn't have things like roadblocks or ways to make actors move in certain ways. He had a clip about women in games being oppressed. Was the clip with context? Because Josh uses a lot of examples and outside perspective in his arguments. Yeah, I mean, one of the annoying things that I find right now, especially in the gaming space, is that people are becoming reactionary and stupid. There was a video that I watched from Never Knows Best. He's a guy who I previously actually said that some of his coverage on events was extremely good. I thought that he did a pretty decent video on the hate that the lead writer of Fallout 4 and Starfield got. I think he's called Emil Pagliarano or whatever. And he pointed out the guy was getting an irrational amount of hatred and loathing from various quarters when there was a lot of evidence that, and a lot of the criticism that was made against Starfield just came from a place of obvious ignorance, because they were saying various different things that just didn't hold up, that wasn't factual. And so I gave him a decent bit of credit for that, but then he came out with a video about Sweet Baby Inc. and DEI and so on, which was just very transparently bad and not worth really talking about at all. But his video still got an awful lot of views, and it's a case of you always have to put your best argument forwards. You always have to be informed, and I feel like this happens an awful lot in games journalism, is that people will do some decent detective work, people like Grums and so on, who genuinely does an awful lot of good stuff, and they will find evidence for various claims and make good arguments. And then after that, they've kind of moved on at least a little bit, then other people will come out of the woodwork and they will start saying things too. And those people will have far less knowledge and understanding of what they're actually saying. And because they've seen other people make similar claims, they'll think that they can basically get away with the audience being on their side and say whatever the hell they want. And that is when the message becomes very muddied. Unfortunately, if you want to be a part of any kind of culture war, you need to know what you're fighting for, and you need to know what you're discussing. And you can't let people poison the well. And unfortunately, there's that saying that a lie can run twice around the world before the truth has time to get its boots on. Pagliarulo, thank you. And the thing is, sometimes what happens is that bad faith actors will take legitimate points and they will paint them in a way that supports their side but demonizes the other side. And the unfortunate reality is an awful lot of people just have bad takes. And the thing about having a bad take is that an enemy that is seeking to slander you is always going to attack where you are weakest. They are not going to attack the parts of your argument that are good, they're going to attack the parts of your argument that are weak. And especially when you have a large movement engaged in an awful lot of back and forth, especially along party lines. This is why I hate politics so much, because in my opinion, your politics should never, ever be a shield for your actions. You should never be allowed to get away with something just because you believe in something. And I'm starting to see that happen quite a lot, and it annoys me when I see it happening. Let's make this road out a little bit longer. No. Let's extend that and then move it round to there. Can I curl it around here? Yes, I can. Let's do it up to here, because then we have it coiled around the marketplace properly. Yes, you have to be willing to evolve and adapt, because so will your enemies. And it happened during Gamergate 1 as well, that it started out as a fairly cohesive movement with an awful lot of good points, and then it allowed itself to be co-opted by the most insane and ridiculous people on the planet, basically, and it made it very easy for the enemies of Gamergate to just go, look, these people obviously have no idea what they're talking about because they're saying a whole load of stuff that is blatantly false, and yeah, if so many people are repeating these obvious lies, and a lot of them were obvious and blatant lies at that point, by like 7 or 8 months after Gamergate first began, and they say, you know what, we should never listen to these people because they're obviously insane. And you have to make certain that your movement is well fortified against those kind of things. It's why I believe firmly that you should go out of your way to educate people, to make sure they're all on the same page, that you're fighting for the same cause. What annoys me the most, I think, is the cases where, let me see, we still have one homeless person. Cases where I see people, especially when it comes to things like, say, the TikTok ban, where they say, oh, the TikTok ban is good because it removes propaganda from our youth. Okay, but the thing is, you're now cheering a ban by the same organization that you normally say is trying to propagandize you and is trying to take away your freedoms. Why exactly are you happy that your freedoms are being taken away? Because it doesn't matter if it's being used in a so-called good way or not. The methods, the results, the ends do not justify the means. You can't use, well, basically you can't use Marxist techniques to enforce a democratic state. And this was something that Leon Trotsky actually said, is that Leon Trotsky was very clear that revolutions did not start with the peasantry, because he said that when the intellectuals rise up and call for revolution, it is actually the peasants that will defend the bourgeoisie, because the peasants have known nothing different, and therefore they will protect the bourgeoisie. And his way around that was basically to step in and sabotage every single attempt that the bourgeoisie had to negotiate with the more radical elements of communism. Because the thing they don't tell you about communism is that the nobility class in Russia were actually very, very open to negotiating with the peasantry in a lot of cases. There were extremely negative events where the peasantry were suppressed, but overall, the more moderate elements of the progressive movement in Russia were willing to negotiate with the bourgeoisie, and the bourgeoisie were willing to negotiate with them. And conditions did in fact start to improve in Russia for quite some time. But the communists were like, you know what, we can't actually have this. So what they would do is they would infiltrate these diplomatic meetings between the nobility and the peasantry, and they would sabotage them deliberately so that no progress was made. And I see a very similar thing happening these days as well, in that there are people out there who don't really want to negotiate under any circumstances. They just want a kind of violent uprising, or they are only interested in free speech as far as it concerns their ability to say what they want, but see other people suppressed, so that they can say what they want and other people can't say anything in return against them. And those kind of people I've seen repeatedly reaching out and attacking all those who comment that there should be equal standards, not just standards that support one side over the other. The rural landlords cock-blocked a lot of industrialization, but Nicholas II and men like Stolypin wanted liberalization. Peasants were just useful idiots. Yeah, both of you are overall correct. And it's like with the TikTok ban, equating it back to the TikTok ban, is that I am really depressed by the number of people who are pro-free speech, but then say this act of censorship by the US government is completely acceptable because it targets something we don't like. Sorry, let me just get actually do something in the game. Save and finish, thank you very much. And I've tried to talk to several of these people, and in the end it just boils down to, I would rather be oppressed by my government than a foreign government. Which is, I mean, it's a stance, it's a stance, okay? But, is it a constructive stance? I really don't think so. And I've noticed also a huge amount of pushback against the idea of engaging with people on a level that is more than aggressive. People are more than willing to attack and strike out, but they're not really willing to stop and build up. Until it bans something you're like, yeah, exactly. Armament delivery. A strong militia is paramount to the survival of any settlement. Luckily, a shipment of weapons has just arrived, and you will now be able to create your first militia banners to serve you and protect your people. However, we will need more weapons to equip all the people as the settlement grows, either by making them or importing them from other lands. I have absolutely no idea how to form a militia. Let me just have a see. Administration. Settlers camp. Place it on an empty manor. So I need I see. I need boards to build a manor too. That makes sense. Trade industry. Bloomery. That's for I know the bloomery process. That's interesting. Farming. Field. Fields in Manor Lords need to be very large to be effective, but also take a long time to plow by hand. For a starting village, try a field size of about 1 morgan. Later, if you want the region to focus on farming, you can consider spending a development point to unlock heavy plow upgrade, which allows plowing much bigger fields far more efficiently utilizing oxen. Also remember to check the ground fertility. Some crop types are more picky about the soil they grow on. Yep, that makes perfect sense. Field size. So that's 0.5 morgan. That's 1 morgan.
I do hope we have enough wood to finish this building. It's been most embarrassing to run out halfway through.
Farmhouse employs families who work in the fields. The workforce is distributed proportionately in accordance with the field's set priority level. When crops are growing, they absorb certain nutrients from the soil, temporarily lowering its fertility and thus diminishing yields over time. To combat this, consider changing crop types, or even better, leaving the field fallow for a year. I do like that it implements crop rotation as well. Crop type. Wheat, barley, flax. Wheat is threshed into grain at the farm, yeah?
Come on, laddie, come on.
Minimum crop for any growth for any kind of harvest is 15. Okay. Crop rotation triggers after the harvest season ends. Keeping the field fallow regenerates the most fertility. Second field, yeah, fallow, and then third year wheat. That seems to make sense.
Gave the old ox a handful of month-old grain. He spat it in my face and tried to starve me in the nipple.
Order another ox. So I need to build farmhouses now. Farm workers plough the fields as soon as the winter passes, but no later than November. Then they sow with the chosen crop. Harvest happens around September. Okay, so logically, I need to place it around about there. Kind of annoyed we have this giant road just pointing out to the middle of nowhere. Also, most annoying thing, my laptop has just restarted trying to install Windows 11, so I can no longer look at chat for a moment or two. Actually, I may be able to. Let me just have a look. Does it block off my screen? Give me just 1 second. I think it's actually still playing in the background. Yes, it is. That's actually quite useful. Windows 11, I know. Oren McIntyre has totally lost me because he's gone full Nietzsche Schmittidian power politics. Boy, Spain rebelled against France during the Napoleonic era because better a Spanish despot king than a filthy Frenchie. Yep, pretty much. And this is why I find it most depressing to try and talk to people in hashtag current year. Because a lot of people think that the problems that we face today are a product of this generation, whereas anyone with a vague understanding of history knows that we're basically 100 years into a massive social experiment that has corrupted an awful lot of people. And we're getting to the point where people simply do not have the experience and the understanding to properly grasp what it is they're missing. I'm guessing we need a windmill now, and then we need windmill efficiency 90. Oh, I don't think like 5% really matters. So pop that there, and now communal oven makes sense to place it right next. So all of that is right next to each other. Efficiency up, nice. Seems like I'm doing the right thing. We've got 20 logs in storage. That's plenty. It's a really nice ambience. Is there anyone homeless? I don't think so. No unassigned families. Unassigned families needed for construction work. Okay. So I'll just unassign those and go. Where's the plot? Ah. So let's get everything going. Oh, let me just look up the hotkey as well to make sure to just check. Settings, controls. Ah yes, X and Z speed up the game. Got it. It's a different thing that I'm used to, but we'll make it. Oh no, resources were stolen by bandits. That's very annoying. Oh, I can actually afford a development thing? Okay. Add a ploughing station enables employing oxen at a farmhouse for significantly faster ploughing of large fields, as well as bringing crops back to storage more efficiently. Okay. What am I going to try now? I think I will go with heavy plough. And what did it say that I needed? I need not enough to build more hitching posts or upgrade one to a stable. Otherwise, some livestock may run away. I definitely don't want that to happen. So, where do I build hitching posts? Industry, bloomery, smithy, clay furnace, tannery, dyer's workshop. Come on, I can find it here somewhere. Oh, that would be under logistics, wouldn't it? Hitching post. Here we are. It seems to me that it should go here somewhere. There we go. Why are you guys not moving this to...
Come along.
Yet it got a debloater and my PC is running way better. Also got a 256GB thumb drive and storing a lot of books like the last stream suggested. Right now collecting all Christian literature. That's cool. Windows 11 is censoring chat. Let me just put on... I just realized I'm on live chat as well. My apologies. Yeah, I very strongly encourage everybody to use stuff like Yandex to download as many books as possible, basically. I very strongly recommend... I'd recommend the works of the Founding Fathers. Particularly, I think that Adam Smith's works are very good as well for like foundational economic thought and so on. Those are very good. Also, Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell is a fantastic writer. He puts things very, very sensibly. Economics in one lesson. I should start reading that on stream again at some point. Oh, that's run out of stuff, so I'll put them to work over... Let's clear out these trees. That's easy enough. We have got plenty of wood. We have stone. So yeah, people should slowly be taking this over. Atomic Soul and Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. The older the book is, I find the better it is. Modern commentary is just so... And I would actually recommend reading things like... let me just actually look, because this does actually run in the background. I would just want to note, this game is great because it actually lets me run it as borderless window, but OBS continues to capture it live when I tab out to a different thing, which is actually not something I've had any other game do. So again, this game's optimization and everything seems to be incredibly good. What was it? Oh, yeah. White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. A subtitle, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism, is a tremendous book for those who enjoy self-reports. And also another book that I would consider required reading is Rules for Radicals, because they will help you to understand the mindset of the progressive class and the current people who are trying to manipulate your thoughts. And once you've read those kind of books, you'll understand why I am so massively and profoundly against things like people going, oh, it's okay to have a little bit of censorship. It's all right for people to be censored when they're not saying things, when they're saying things that I don't want them to say. Because that kind of thing is just playing straight into the hands of the kind of people that support Rules for Radicals. Because they rely on the idea. One of the foundations for radicals and similar books like it is to say that nothing really matters except what you can succeed at doing. They basically set out to teach you how to tear down moral principles and replace them with principles that are based on force. The idea that nobody will ever stick to anything if they're put under sufficient hardship. That when somebody says, this is against my morality, then your response should be, how much pressure and misery can we put on these people to stop them saying that, basically? It's the argument that, well, it's a bit like the Book of Job. Everything that a man has, he will give in behalf of his soul, which is a quote from Satan talking to God, speaking about Job. Basically, what Satan was saying is, this person is only loyal to you because you bless him. If you withdraw your blessings from him and allow me to torture him, eventually he will admit that he never really loved you in the first place, and the only reason he liked you was because you made his life easy. And the whole book of Job, whether you believe it as a true story of Christianity or not, or just as an allegory, it still contains immense value, even if all you read is like the first 2 or 3 chapters and then the last 2 or 3 chapters, because in the middle is basically a very beautiful, it's beautiful, it's torturous, but it is genuinely beautifully written, the argument between Job and his 3 false comforters. That can be a bit philosophical and a bit hard to grasp when you first go around, but the idea of the Book of Job I consider to be absolutely timeless and important for everybody, regardless of who they might be.
So could I.
Anyway, let me just actually bother starting some of this. So we have some spears, and we have potential recruits. Spears and large shields. So I'm guessing that what we're supposed to do is make Zweiau. The male villagers will be evenly distributed between all militia units, and they will try to find the required equipment. The weapon and shield depends on the unit type, while the maximum quality of body armor and helmet depends on the village's residential level. After bringing the necessary equipment home, the unit recruits are marked as ready to rally. Only then will you be able to rally your unit. Got it. So, alright, so I think that's already set. So we've got 20 large shields and 20 spears, which means that another 10 people.
Come on, laddie. Come on.
Okay, that makes sense enough. One moment, please, and let me just log back into my laptop. I recommend stuff by Rothbard and Mises. Also, I'm getting PDFs for guides to make semaphore lines, penicillin, and the printing press. Oh yeah, YouTuber Academic Agent recommends history books pre-1945. I would agree with all of that. Spear good. Yes, the spear is the most ancient and effective weapon. You see, the thing that happened after 1945 is basically the start of the globalization era, and it was... oh my goodness, it's far too big and far too deep to really go in on, but... I mean, it is kind of fascinating, at the risk of glowing, it's just really, really fascinating how okay people were with Funny Mustache Man. Right up until the moment he started talking about creating his own economic system and taking away the powers of the bankers. It's just really interesting to read up about like the high-level response to Nazism and Hitler, and just see how people's opinions flip the instant he starts doing that kind of thing. And it's the same with Colonel Gaddafi. It's fascinating how Colonel Gaddafi and his regime in Libya were tolerated for such a long time. And yet you can trace the time when the US starts to talk about regime change in Libya practically to the very day that Gaddafi starts talking about a unified Africa, a Biafran League that will set up its own currency in opposition to the dollar. And funnily enough, it's the same with Saddam Hussein, that the US was more than happy to back Saddam Hussein against Iran until Saddam Hussein started talking about his own version of the petrodollar. Once you start making these mental connections, USA was all in with Mustache Man. Yeah, pretty much.
We all know what that means.
The whole idea of good versus of the World War II being good versus evil is, well, it's a fun story to tell your kids about, but not really anything good. Public order, that's all good. Living space assigned. Why are these guys not moving stuff? Like, we should be moving stuff from storage. Is it just because I haven't assigned anybody? Okay, let's assign families to this. Advanced. Unlimited work area connected to road network. Is it because these things aren't connected to the road, technically? No, these are not connected to the road. Okay, I assume that that would help. But the Georgian chanting is very, very nice. I enjoy that a lot. Now then, army. Can I rally these guys already? Let's just see what happens. Select units with the left mouse button. Command select units with the right mouse button. Hold and drag to form a line. Hold Alt while dragging to keep the formation when multiple units are commanded. Hold Control to draw waypoints for a single squad. So very, very simple. Simple stuff. Let's have a look at these guys. The combat strength of your units depends on many factors. Stances, morale, fatigue, and effectiveness. The unit might have a hard time fighting uphill, or archers struggle while shooting in the rain. Hold tab to inspect details. Okay. Effectiveness 60%. Attack 1, armor 5, shield 8, impaling 10, charge 0, in the home region. Okay. And this looks really good. Like, just zoom in and have a look at these guys. Every single one of these guys has at least some level of uniqueness to them. And this is equivalent easily to Total War. Immediately. All these guys look distinct. Which is excellent. They all have different colored jerkins, all different jackets, all this kind of stuff. This is great to see. This is really, really nice to see.
My liege.
Okay, let's have a look at the stances. Missile alert. Stand your ground. Push forward. Disband. Militia and retainers will return to their daily lives as civilians. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything with these guys just now. I just want to And then it's just gonna... Okay, that's fine, never mind. What settings are you running this on? This is running on Ultra. All of this is running on, I think, the best quality graphics that it possibly can be. Upgrade to large storehouse. Increases generic storage. Generic storage. Yeah, how do I get these guys to actually take stuff in? I like that the oxes have... I like that the oxen have names as well. That's quite cute. Just move forward a bit and see if anybody... Yep, people are... Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Look at that. They even have individual animations for picking stuff out of storage. That's really cute. So stuff is being moved back to my storage place. That's great. That's really nice. Like, the little details that make this game look so nice. And again, I remember when SimCity, well, SimCity 2013, was it, came out? And people were very quick to point out how much all of the, like, interactions in that game were actually completely fake. That, with SimCity 2013, it was always online for one thing, and also... they were touted as citizens were being touted as being like self-aware and able to choose the jobs they went to. That in SimCity 2013 you could watch a citizen get out of bed, well, not get out of bed, but come out of their house and then drive to their workplace and complete a work shift and then drive back home. But very quickly it was discovered that that was a total lie, is that actually the game had no way of tracking what citizens related to which houses, and so you would get this absurd and hilarious thing, is that a whole bunch of citizens would pour out of their houses in the morning, and then they would drive to work, but then the system would forget where any of those those citizens were supposed to be, and so they would every single one of those cars would just drive back to the same house and cause gigantic traffic blocks, and then the game would just magically remember where they were supposed to sleep, and they would all just teleport into their houses and repeat the cycle. So that system was completely broken on launch, and I don't think it was ever fully fixed. SimCity Online until it wasn't, yeah. Like, AAA developers are just such absolute and shameless liars at this point, whereas this guy literally came out on... I think he did a live stream or just an announcement where he said, look, this game is getting really hyped up. Please, I'm only one person. I can't deliver to you perfectly. Please understand. Please understand. Small independent company, please understand. Literally. The guy is so humble. He's not a Sean Murray. He's not hyping up the game to death or anything like that, which I massively respect in every way. I think we need a sort of a source of firewood as well. A forester's hut would also be quite useful. Let me actually just go fertility. So we want to leave these areas quite maxed out. I don't think it matters where we build stuff like forester's huts. So let's put a forester's hut somewhere around here, I think. What about around here? Let's go. Come on, we can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. No, that's irritating. Can I make a road come out this way? No, I can't. Okay, so that is a little bit locked off, which is slightly irritating. Yeah, my preference for compactness is coming back to slightly bite me in the ass here. Oh well, let's just move it around like this. No, just go up here. Just go up here. On the back here. Right, make sure I've got the fertility thing going. Yep, all of this is low fertility ground, so it doesn't really matter. So forester's hut, we can pop it here. There we go. Now that is grade A spewing BS, yep. It is very depressing how so many AAA studios nowadays are just completely subverted and you can't trust them to do a single thing. Come on, guys, move stuff back in. I have no idea how fast this game is supposed to run, by the way, so I don't know if I'm... Unassigned families needed for construction work. I'll get there in a second. I mean, we don't need this many families because we've got logs. We've got 28 logs, so we're not going to run to that anytime soon. But not very high. I mean, if it's the only thing I'm building, it probably doesn't matter at all. This is really nice. The way that everything builds is just so nice. The attention to detail is just fantastic. Limit work area. Let's say... around out there would be fine. So now we can replant all those trees, hopefully. Forager's hut. How many families do I have free? Living space, 6 families. Let me just build another. I can afford to build another couple of houses too. So let's have free space for people to join us. That would be a little bit too much. That works. There we go. Now we can build 3 more houses. Quite quick to... I'm hoping that with us housing surplus, we should be able to attract new people. Oh yes, we've already...
Perhaps it was simply a bad bet. These things happen.
I need to get a handle on this design system, because this whole worker stuff is a bit awkward for me right now. I'll get used to it. I can already tell this would be a fantastic podcast game. Like, if I ever want to pick up on get up on podcasts and everything, this is the kind of game that I would play to listen to podcasts on. That's a nice house, yeah. Peter Molyneux. I'm really curious if Peter Molyneux is involved in anything these days, because he's quite an old guy by now, but I'm sure he's still doing something. Actually, that reminds me, I remember a guy who used to, like, talk about Peter Molyneux all the time, and that was... I had his name on the tip of my tongue, and it's literally gone. He used to collaborate with Ashens, I think Larry Bundy Jr. What the heck is Larry Bundy Jr. even doing with himself nowadays? Let me just look him up on the internet, actually, because I don't remember seeing his videos for... Larry Bundy Jr. Larry Bundy Jr. controversy. What? Larry Bundy Jr. What? Why I am done with Larry Bundy Jr. The many lies and shady past of Guru Larry, aka Larry Bundy Jr. I wonder why I stopped uploading. Let me just have a look. No, I don't want to watch your actual videos. Last thing was 6 months ago. I mean, he didn't upload very often, so I'm not sure if he actually does anything. He's been quite sick. That's depressing. Larry is doing the same old videos as always. It seems like he's yet another content creator that has some controversial stuff about him. I'm so tired of this, guys. I really am tired that we go through a cycle of content creators come out and they're around for a while and everybody seems to like them, and then you suddenly realize that they're a terrible person. Fuel 2 months. Okay, so I need a camp for firewood too. Okay, so it seems like from the stats up here, I definitely do need to build more houses for people to move in. Which, as you know, makes sense. I like how the house is just going to skeletonize up like this. This is really cute. So much love clearly went into this game. And this is one guy, remember. It's not like 20 guys or anything like that. This is a single person that made all of this stuff. And this is... It reminds me a little bit of Banished, although I didn't really play much Banished, but Banished was another cool game. But unfortunately, Banished was a bit limited in what it did, whereas this Feels really nice. I would live in one of these houses, I'll be honest, guys. These kind of houses...
Don't be shy, good sirs and ladies.
I really love these old style of houses too. If you could make a modern version of these houses with electricity and running water, I would live in that one. And I would have a larger I'd have more area. I've kind of wondered if I should ever get into thatching, because I know that thatching is something of a lost art, and yet thatchery is... Thatched houses are just another thing entirely. They're so warm. Like our house right now has partial thatched roof. I won't say too much about it because our house is actually really distinctive, and I would kind of soft-box myself to talk about it too much. But yeah, my house has partial thatched roof, and it is the warmest house we've ever been in. People from Channel Awesome fell down a black hole. It's incredible how the only one still trucking is Angry Joe, and he has some highly stupid takes half the time. Oh yes, Pissed Pedro. I actually used to watch him a fair amount when he was doing decent angry reviews, but he got too political and he started trying to pivot into movie content reviews, and I'm sorry, I stopped watching him. Does anyone here remember Ride to Hell? I think Ride to Hell Retribution was the time that was the game that got me involved with an awful lot of content creators, because the reactions to Ride to Hell Retribution when it came out was, it put me into contact with an awful lot of people in the gaming space, and I watched that was how I came into contact with Total Biscuit and Angry Joe. Oh dear, poor Total Biscuit. I feel so sorry for the damn guy. I used to really, really like Total Biscuit. Requirements not met. Okay, so now that I've got a bunch of houses that are built... Did a bunch of people just move in already? Because now it's saying... That's total population of 15, so no. People. Stable space, 1 of 1. Okay. Help. Population growth. New families may join the settlement only if there is enough living space and approval is high enough. If approval is 75% or higher, the growth rate is 2 families per month. 50% or higher, it's 1 family per month. If approval drops below 25%, it will cause emigration. Families may also turn to banditry if public order is low. So my approval is just slightly too low. I may just have to just fast forward time until my approval rises a little bit and new people move in.
Doc's a hand for the month-old grey. He spat it in my face and tried to carve me a new nipple.
Do we have a tavern? No, that needs ale, which we don't have right now. What am I trying to do now? Well, it is logistics, and we're going to build... No, it's not logistics. It's a mining pit, don't need that yet. We need this guy because he's going to make us firewood. There we go. Just pop that down there. TV was a bit of a C-word, but his performance-tism was badly needed in today's hell of unoptimized games. I mean, that's why I just can't stand most AAA games today, because they're just so big. I would like to get into Helldivers 2, but Helldivers 2 is just so massive. I was also thinking of restarting War Thunder, because I've been watching a lot of War Thunder content recently, and I have a decently advanced account on War Thunder 2. But the thing is, War Thunder is a gargantuan game. It's something like well over 150 gigabytes by now, and the last time I played War Thunder, all I did was I installed the basic version of War Thunder without the high-resolution texture patches. And the high-resolution texture patch is like 80 to 90% of the size of the game. I remember when Arkham Knight was out and he was struggling to run the game on a 390. Yeah, I know. The shit they did with WoW, Blizzard, and Command & Conquer would have killed him. Yeah, it's really sad. It's really sad. Exposed goods pantry. You need to be moved. That's annoying. Guys, can you please just move stuff to out of... Like, yeah, the bread is getting wet, guys. Why are you letting the bread get wet? Seriously. Right, let's just wait and see if anybody moves in. "14 months of food, granary." What have I assigned the guys here for?
We all know what that means.
Poor quality, you say?
Where did I assign people? Yeah, I've got 2 people running out of fuel. Yes, I know. Don't worry. I'll get to that. Limit work area. Let's put you on this there. That's 3. Okay, let's just hope that people start moving in soon. What I find slightly annoying is that when it says assigned people, you can't actually see where they're assigned. You just have to kind of remember, which is a mild irritation. So yeah, we should have fuel for another while. Currently showing surplus goods. Bandit camp has been sighted. That's annoying. How long do you plan to stream today? How long have I already been streaming for? Oh, it's been over an hour. Okay. An hour and 39, hour and 40 minutes. Goodness me, that time is passing fast. I'll probably only... Proctor's Park is melting in the dark. Someone left my bread out in the rain. I'm probably only going to stream for another 20 or 30 more minutes, because what I would like to do now that I've just got a taste of this game is to play it a little bit more offline and to develop a feel for it, because one of the things that I find kind of annoying about games like this is they can often be quite difficult and counterintuitive to know how to progress on. And I would like to be able to develop things to the point where I can actually have another stream of this game where things are a bit more active. This is very much a chill game. I would also like to have some more topics to talk about while streaming. I think that it's quite fun to playing a game like this while rambling, while yapping. How nice people are... Oh, that's really nice. Oh, that's... I like this. They have unique animations for just about everything. That's really cute. Can I actually name these places? I can't, not at the moment. No, that's annoying. And yes, in summary, most definitely would I recommend this game so far. It's definitely a chill game so far, and it's not going to be one where you are getting into fights right away. I'd love to see a speedrun of this game, actually. That would be quite entertaining. I'm sure you could in some capacity. Right, so all these houses are empty, so that's just fine. What happens if one of them is larger than the other? That's interesting. Exposed goods. Why wouldn't these guys just take this stuff in? I think they will, bit by bit. Ah, yes, I think they are, actually. Just takes a while. Oh, nice. Harvest season ended. October. Seasons are deeply connected to people's lives and affect different jobs. Okay. I can see my man falling asleep playing this. He needs a game like that. Well, something good happened today because BC is recriminalizing drugs. Do you mean, when you say BC, do you mean British Columbia? Like, if you want to drop some... Let me just look back at the Discord, actually, for a second. Come on, Discord, please. Please, Discord, thank you. If you want to drop something like that into stream materials, then I would be more than happy to cover it tomorrow. I've already got a few topics to cover tomorrow on my stream, but I would be quite delighted to have something to do with drugs in British Columbia. Yep, 7 months of fuel, so I think I can take these guys off that and now put them onto something else. That's 1, 2. It's a windmill.
Why do I have to carry this alone?
Will do. I have so much from Canada right now. Yeah. Canada is a meme state. I really wish that Canada was a better place to live. I feel very sorry for people like Denna who have to live in Canada because there's just no future in Canada. I would strongly recommend that the first thing any Canadian does is leave Canada. It's all you can really do in the end. Day of the Rake. If only. If only. I think the ultimate tragedy of Canada is that there are people in Canada who actually do have good ideas, but you're just not allowed to... You're just not allowed to be somebody in Canada who has their own opinions at all. And this is actually something that, like, before I close out today, this is something that I find very irritating, that something that a lot of people said to me about TikTok is, in fact, let me just go back to just chatting for a moment as I close things out. Something that an awful lot of people told me about with the whole TikTok ban was, it's awful because, well, it's not bad because China is an oppressive government that censors its people. I really like that best of audio, actually. And I said, I can go to China right now, and I can say offensive things about homosexuals, Jews, Canadians, black people, Hispanics, British people, Japanese, Taiwanese, Jamaicans, transsexuals, cross-dressers, etc. And China will do absolutely nothing to stop me. The only thing that I can't criticize in China is the Chinese government, which, you know, is still censorship. There's no denying that. But if I go to Scotland, and if I walk into a gay man in the street, and we both, like, collide, and I say to him, "Watch where the bloody hell you're going, mate," then he can immediately go to the police station, and he can say that I have committed a hate crime against him because I cursed at him based on his protected status as a gay man. And I will 100% get a visit from the police. Which country am I more censored in? Now, I'm not denying that. The thing is, people are stupid because they will immediately say, "Oh, you're defending China." No, I'm not defending China. China is an authoritarian hellscape. But at the very least, China is honest about why they're censoring you. China is censoring you because you're saying China looks bad. China is not a slave to all of these different groups where it's willing to say, you know, you can say whatever you like against the government of Britain. You can say whatever you like against the government of Scotland. But say one thing against any of the protected minorities in either of those countries, and you get a visit from the police. And I'm really tired of people acting as if things are arbitrarily worse in different countries when they have no idea about how bad things are even in their own local countries. This is what I was saying about earlier, that you have to be ready to make a defense for the stance that you have based on actual evidence. The moment you descend into rhetoric, or whataboutism, or oh, that side is just bad, then you lose the argument, because you're showing that fundamentally your mindset is no different from the people that you're trying to criticize. Because you're saying, the facts don't matter, what matters is my opinion and my viewpoint, whereas the facts are the only thing that should matter. China is too clumsy to gaslight you effectively. That's actually not a bad way to put it. I kind of agree with that take, actually. Yeah, China is very heavy-handed, and it is very, very awkward. And again, I'm not saying that China is good. People have... You can say that I'm wrong. I don't mind if you say that I'm wrong. Just don't say that I am trying to support a group that I am not actually supporting. That is what gets to me, beyond anything else. But that really kind of wraps it up. That was a fun little stream with Manor Lords, a game that I can tell I'm going to be playing an awful lot in the future. I'm very sorry that this had a false start at the beginning where I wasn't able to properly show things due to my stupid internet. We're coming up on, yeah, just about 2 hours now. I can already tell that I'm going to need to go to the bathroom in a couple of minutes, and I want a bit more coffee. Let me just actually, yep, I've got the game paused, that's good. Oh dear, I was worried for a second. What I will do, tomorrow I'm going to be streaming again at the usual time, 10 p.m., 2200 hours UTC, and I will be doing a bit of a news stream, where we will talk about a lot of fun topics, like, for example, the German Greens and their lies about nuclear power phase-out, and also the Canadian municipality that requires a QR code in order to visit. And there's a couple of other rather more miserable things, like, for example, Nex Benedict, a Oklahoma teen who died by suicide recently, that people are trying to claim was transgender and that was killed in a motivated crime to try and kill transgender people, which is a whole thing of itself. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we can potentially discuss. A little bit more about Bridge and DEI as well, which I thought was worth highlighting. There's a decent amount of stuff that we can communicate about, ladies and gentlemen. That I will see you all next time, I believe. I do thank you all for coming to me for this particular stream, and I really hope that you have a nice day. But I will probably be playing more Manor Lords on Monday, I would say, after I've learned a little bit more about the game. Good stream, thank you very much, Damned Lurker. And at the last, I think I will once again encourage everybody, download stuff. Keep personal backups of everything. Buy a cheap SSD, or hell, if you're just using PDFs, all you need is a couple of, SD cards. Like an SD card, 126 gigabyte SD card will store hundreds and hundreds of PDFs easily. Thousands, probably. You can store thousands, maybe tens of thousands of books on a single SD card. You have no excuse not to go out and archive stuff for yourself. Educate yourself. Literally educate yourselves, guys. And I really appreciate anybody who takes even 10 minutes out of their day to, quote-unquote, educate themselves. If you have an opinion, at least base it on something. Anyway, for now, thank you very much for coming. I will see you all tomorrow. Please have a nice night. Good night.